The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Over 25 years ago, on September 29th, 1998, we watched a brainy girl with curly hair drop everything to follow a guy she only kind of knew all the way to college. And so began Felicity. My name is Juliette Littman, and I'm a Felicity superfan. Join me, Amanda Foreman, who you may know better as Megan, the roommate, and Greg Grunberg, who you may also know as Sean Blunberg, as the three of us revisit our favorite moments from the show and talk to the people who helped shape it. Listen to Dear Felicity on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
You might be too close to the mic.
This is how I talk.
This is how I talk.
This is how I talk. Married at First Sight Australia.
Kia ora, welcome along to The Real Pod. This is a bonus pod, a breakout special. We are breaking out. I'm breaking out. It's just been so muggy.
I've got hives. I'm too stressed.
This is your reality TV recap. Sometimes real life in New Zealand podcast, but today just a recap. Alex Casey is
Trying to show off my eczema.
showing off her eczema. It's delightful. I love it. It's a really strong look on you.
I'm blotchy. Anyway.
I'm Jane Yee, by the way.
And I'm blotchy.
We don't have any Duncan because, again, busy, but that's fine.
Did Duncan do a monopod today? Yes or no?
He did do a monopod. Yeah. No, hang on. By today, you mean on Thursday?
Yeah.
Today is Sunday night.
Yes. Correct.
She's given away all our secrets.
It's great to be here. Didn't we have an amazing Saturday together?
Wasn't it a good weekend? Oh my goodness, I hope nothing really truly bad happens on the weekend. Oh my God.
Oh, touch wood.
Okay, anyway, we have just watched the Married at First Sight reunion special part 2. It was the couch session with the experts. Mm-hmm. Just 2 of the experts. No longer got sexpert Trish. Is it Trish?
Sexpert. I always call her Lorelei. She has Lorelei vibes.
Is she Trish or is the blonde one Trish?
I think sexpert is Trish.
Okay, anyway, she's not there, so it's a moot point.
You know what she's doing.
Filthy. The first thing that anyone said that we caught wind of when the contestants all came in and sat down was Mike saying to Jess, "You smell nice."
You smell nice. Did you think there was going to be a Mike and Jess l'affaire?
I did, because that's what I said last week in the pod as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was like, I kind of wondered if they were going to reveal that because there had been that tension between them throughout their season. And then the whole time Mike was up talking about Heidi and everything, they did so many cuts to Jess. And I was waiting for it and it didn't happen, which is annoying for me.
Yeah.
But probably good for both of them.
Because there was something between them, right? In their season, there was like a moment of flirtiness or some kind of...
There was definitely flirtiness, and I predicted they were going to get together, but then things actually got very nasty between them. The next thing we had was Nasser. He was the first, what do you say, out the gate? The first horse out the gate? The first bull out the gate?
First off this blocks.
He was the first king of reality out the gate, and he was asked to make an apology. Did they get him on the couch?
I feel like they were just yelling at him across the room. I feel like Nasser is never just in a normal space. I feel like he was sitting on the arm of the couch.
Yeah.
Just yelling. Loved it though. No one can get him to apologise.
No, he didn't.
The Real Pod can't. The experts can't.
No, I mean he did apologise, but it was very much your classic. I'm sorry if you felt that way. Not I'm sorry I did the bad thing.
And they were like, "Are you still going to comment to the press?" And he was like, he looked like a kid who'd been told off, but he was like, "Maybe, no, probably."
Definitely. By the way, he definitely
thrives
does
on it.
Comment to the press still because I don't know. We're the press, right?
We're the press. He gave the press a kiss the other night.
There'll be no NASA news on Facebook anymore in Australia, though. You'll have to listen to the fold if you don't know what I'm talking about. Facebook have decided not to publish any news links whatsoever across their site. And it's quite broad. Apparently there's been Harvey Norman's page. Breaking news is a sale on.
It's always good sales there. Was there anything else on NASA?
I mean, not really.
Pink shirt. palm trees.
He was an adored member of the cast when he was first on the show. We really liked him. And then he turned bad quite quickly, not early on, but it was a very rapid turn towards the end of his season. And then, of course, we know what he's been up to since then, which has just been paying absolutely everybody out on social media and texting Alex Casey a lot.
He's a king of reality TV.
He's the king of reality TV.
It's quite sad, isn't it? I did have a moment thinking, I was like, I'm part of the problem, I'm egging Nasser on. He's quite a toxic person, really. I would have nothing to do with him in my everyday life.
And yet,
maybe I need to do some soul searching.
I think you do.
Maybe I need to talk to Dean.
It's the Free Britney effect.
It is the Free Britney effect.
You're complicit in...
You watched it?
Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about MAFS and Joe's jandals. Joe got quite a big recap for someone who contributed not very much to the original series that she was in, and B, absolutely nothing to the dinner party.
Yeah. It was weird. I guess there's no one else who seemed to have a nice time on the show.
Well, she didn't have that great of a time on the show.
She's happy.
She's had a good time since, but her husband was a bit of bleh.
I don't really remember them. Is that why? Why would that be?
Because they tapped out quite early. Is my whole point. Like, why was she at the reunion?
And the husband was a dick.
But I was happy to see her jandals again. I don't love how big of a deal they're making her weight loss, because I actually think she looked great beforehand as well. Like, truthfully, looked fab.
Her spirit shines.
Yeah, but she did serve up the great line that she's sorted out the temple and the moat door is open.
The moat door. Oh my God. Trish should have been there for that. Trish would have loved that.
I loved it because I felt it was a very real pod thing to say.
It was.
Like, she didn't realise what she was saying when she said it. In the moment she said it, the room erupted. And then she was like, I didn't mean it like that, which I feel like is what I do every single time I get behind a microphone.
That was emotional dump. I feel like there's been many of those. Did you catch that little moment where Martha peeped Michael wearing her socks?
Yes.
And then there's that little mutter about like,
are you wearing my underwear?
As well.
They're very much painting them as the cute couple, right?
They are.
They are.
I like
just
them.
Find them boring.
I like they have a little laugh. They don't need to be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who look like that, people who have that life, I like it when they've got a bit of humour.
She's learnt to disregard looks.
Well, yeah.
Dean and Trace were the first couple up on the couch. Dean and his lady Tracy.
The first thing that they said when she sat down, "You're clearly pregnant." Is that fine? I don't know what the rules are. There was that whole James Charles thing this week as well.
Well, I mean, she is clearly pregnant.
She didn't look extremely pregnant. But I guess they know. It just seemed like an interesting place to start.
Look, I've had twins, and I was
You're
clearly pregnant. So I never felt offended when someone said that to me, but I shouldn't project that onto Tracy. I think she's fine with it.
Fine.
She seemed okay. Dean described the experience of being back there as living through some fun but also traumatic memories, and I felt like that was the same for me. I was surprised at how emotional I felt during the recaps.
The roller coaster ride. And how much you forget as well.
Yes.
With that bit where she's like, we were intimate this morning, for crying out loud. It's just so intense.
It's so crazy. I said that last week as well, like, just a reminder of how crazy this show is. It really is. And we're just seeing, like, snippets. It's just
the highlights.
Tip of the highlight berg. Tracy also made a little gag about, I feel like I'm still waiting to be blindsided, because people made so much fun of her overusing the term blindsided during her season. I like that about her.
I like that. That goddess means business.
She really does.
Dean has a podcast. I don't know if you know this. I found it today, actually. And it's called Dangerous Ideas with Dino. But so far, the dangerous ideas seem to be entirely about MAFS in
Right.
reality TV, so he hasn't strayed too far. It's not like
He's just come up with some great alliteration.
He has.
And it's got nothing to do with the content of the podcast.
Nothing seems dangerous, but this latest episode is him and Tracy just having a yarn over Zoom about the reunion.
Did
they
you listen
seem
to
like
it?
great mates. I listened to the first 30 seconds and then I tapped out.
So you buy the Dean redemption story?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I think I do too.
It's weird, but he is the weirdest guy of all time.
Is he though?
Remember the rap?
Yeah, but that's not I don't know if he's the weirdest guy of all time. I mean,
That guy might be coming down the
there's a
line.
few. It was great to see the rap again. It was actually weirdly better than I remembered it being.
Did you love it?
I mean, I was tapping with it.
Tapping your foot.
I've been desensitized to it. I also think maybe it has something to do with the fact that I do like Dean a tiny bit more now than I did then.
Yeah. And how good is Tracy's redemption moment at that final ceremony?
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about that. But that great line where she's like, you don't deserve me. Incredible. Do you think she wrote it on her own?
She's a best-selling. She's an author. She is. She's got a book.
There's pages in it.
We had a lovely time with Tracy.
That's
Tracy
right.
Jill. We actually, the Real Pod hosted her book launch at Time Out Bookstore, which is what an odd marriage of things that was. But it was a great time. We met some cornies. We had some of the Real Housewives of Auckland were there.
Why was I not there?
And there was a confrontation between a couple of them and Duncan. It was a real treat. And
Should have popped a camera up.
there was a lot of Nando's.
Hayden was there?
Hayden Daniel from New Zealand MAFS ate about 15 chickens. I think he stashed some under his arm as he left as well. We spent a few hours with Tracy, didn't we? She turned up at Duncan's house and we went with her to...
That's right. We shot a video for the Spin-Off TV, which
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever even made it
I think
to air.
it did. I remember showing her the Uncle Barry clip. I mean, I definitely saw something. I don't know if you just posted something to me. Posted? You just put a VHS in the mail?
Yeah. What a day.
Dean and Trace, look, you know, good on them. I do think when the experts say you've shown that you can be through a traumatic relationship breakup and come out friends, that was nice. I mean, was it a real relationship? It was a TV marriage for like a few weeks, but yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Then we had Mike. This was hard to watch.
It was. I feel for him a little bit.
Okay, so Heidi, I freaking love Heidi. I still love Heidi. I loved her then. I love her now. I fully respect the fact that she doesn't want to have anything to do with the franchise, clearly. Doesn't want to have anything to do with Mike, which just watching that scene on the beach, which, as Mike said, was on their honeymoon.
It's terrible.
The audacity of him to say what he said to her about, I'm not your therapist. I can only listen for a few more minutes. When she's making herself so completely vulnerable about quite traumatic stuff from her past. I mean, I know sometimes when people have been in a relationship a long time and there have been lots of hurt, sometimes people say hurtful things which have come from places of hurt. He barely knew her and was so rude.
He was very hot.
To be fair, in his defence,
The sun was out.
when I get hot, I can't cope.
I can't.
Do you think he was lying there going, I'm fucking sweating. I'm just not the kind of person who can lay in the sun for minutes and minutes on end. And when is she going to shut the fuck up? Do you think that's what he's thinking?
Yeah. Doesn't he? I know he said that. He was like, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot, isn't it? Trying to cut her off. I'm not excusing the behaviour. I'm just saying, but the evidence is there as to why he lashed out. Blame the Australian heat.
What he could have done better, even if he was hot, is say something along the lines of, let's carry on this conversation. I'm about to pass out
Really
of the
hot.
heat. But let's just go and get some shade. I'd love to hear more about this.
True.
But hopefully he's learned that lesson.
And he also, there were several more examples of him being terrible in moderate temperatures, sometimes even in an air-conditioned room.
I'm still angry about the food thing, which they didn't show, which I talked about last week when he went out to get her dinner and came back with dinner only for himself because her place was closed and didn't get... Seeing all the other stuff that he did and said, I know that there are worse things probably for most people, but that still is the worst thing for me because food is my love language probably.
Yeah.
Especially takeaways.
Yeah. I know you're not supposed to talk about personal relationships in public. I had a fight with Joe once because he rang me. He was coming home from the supermarket. He's like, do you want me to pick you up anything? And I was like, oh, no, I guess not. And then he came home and he had a foot-long sub. And I was like, well, I didn't know you were going to Subway. If you had said, I'm going to Subway, do you want a sandwich? Of course I would have said yes. But if you just say, do you want anything?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, you should have been more specific because of course I wanted some.
Again, what he should have done, you are in therapy and I am your therapist, by the way. What he should have done, when you'd said, I don't want anything, he could have gone, okay, fine. And then he's gone to Subway and gone, then he could have contacted you then and gone, are you sure I'm at Subway? Still got time to get you something if you want. A follow-up.
Yeah, follow up. Who knows now? I had half the sandwich anyway.
Maybe that's why he got the foot long, so that you could both have a cheeky 6-inch. I just opened the moat door. I'm sorry.
I have a cheeky 6-inch.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, I apologise. Okay, anyway. Wait. Oh, Mike. So, yes, okay, it was very hard to go back and watch their relationship. I remember there was a lot of stuff that he did that at the time was unforgivable. I find myself nearly falling for his propaganda. Was it propaganda? Like his remorse. Was it an act or was it true?
I don't know. I'm gullible, so I've bought it.
I mean, I wanted to buy it, and that's the thing, but I feel like that's maybe how he got Heidi in the first place, is that sometimes these types of people who are quite dangerous are very, very charming.
He does a lot of fake crying, you notice. He like pretends to tear up and then he'll
Cover the eyes.
cover the eyes.
Cover the fact
Nothing
there's no
to see
tears
here. Nobody
coming out.
eyes. Don't zoom in. Don't do any sort of
Pushing his thumb and his index finger right into his eyes to make them red.
or he's got like some intricate like tube up his finger. You know, like a clown. Does that happen? And anyway, sorry, I'm getting hot.
He could have taken advantage of the sweat and the heat to do some tears.
Yeah. You just want him to unleash. Like if he had just wept and just been like, I just fucked up. I look like such a dick. Like Jess almost. Like I believe Jess.
I
We'll talk
believe
about
Jess.
later. But when there was like a line where they were like, when it was good, Mike, how good was it? And he was like, it was good.
I was expecting him to do it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was the best thing I've ever had.
Could have given it more.
I really would like to know what Heidi thinks. I feel like Heidi would be able to watch his performance, for lack of a better word, and see straight through it or believe it to be true. I really would love to know what she made of what happened on the couch tonight.
He said he had learned more in the last 2 years than in the last 20.
Yeah.
Which is quite amazing. How old is Mike?
He was 44 during the experiment, so he'd be 46 now, because I think they were saying it was 2 years ago. She's the one that got away, because obviously at the end of their season, they were together, and then by the time it got to the reunion and the actual season, they were no longer together.
That's right.
And I don't recall why.
Really hot summer, probably.
Kia ora, I'm Sophie.
I'm Simon.
And I'm Alice, and together we host the Spin-Off's food podcast, Dietary Requirements.
Join us each month as we explore a vast culinary landscape, from the gourmet
Ooh la la.
to your more hearty tucker.
Onion dip, anyone?
Everything's on the table in Dietary Requirements.
Subscribe wherever you listen to all your favourite podcasts.
Kia ora, my name's Duncan Grieve and I'm managing editor at The Spin-Off. This podcast, like so much of the work we do at The Spin-Off, is made possible by the support of our members. To find out more about The Spin-Off members and how you can help us keep producing quality, independent journalism, visit members.thespinoff.co.nz today.
Next up were Troy and Ashley.
Trashly.
Oh, just the recap again with so many good things.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually the recap on Troy, basically. So we got tennis grunts.
Yes.
We got the push-ups. We got the tuna eating, the teeth brushing, the laugh, pasta a la Troy.
Pasta a la Troy. I had forgotten that.
Oh, I can't believe you forgot pasta a la Troy. The thing that I had forgotten was the kiss on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
It was so forceful. She was falling backwards and she was like laughing at the horror of it.
That's right.
What strikes me is like, as that kiss happens, she says to him, "You're coming on too strong." And she means physically, like, as well as emotionally or romantically. He's literally coming at her with too much force. And it was like through their relationship, she was coaching him.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how you do it, Troy.
Yeah. She was an amazing sport.
She really was.
Like,
she kind of was his perfect match in that way.
yeah. At least you know it's sort of like, well, this guy's going to be on camera a lot, so I'm going to be there. I might as well just laugh along with it.
Yeah. Can you imagine if he'd been paired with someone like Innes? She would have absolutely torn him to shreds.
Yeah. Take that eyebrow ring out.
Speaking of Innes, Lizzie and Innes both took to the couch together. I actually totally forgot that they were both sides of the Sam coin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Confuses me because Liz came back in that second. She back
in
that second season that she did. So I hadn't really put that together in my mind at the dinner party, that those two might have some beef. But of course, then we were reminded they kind of actually were at peace by the end of their season because they had this common trauma. I feel like trauma is a word that gets used a lot in MAFS.
It does.
He was really a piece of work.
He was. And seeing the supercut as well. And the wedding day when she's walking down the aisle and he says something horrible in his little talking head about how he'll get her running. It's just, disgusting.
It's so bad. And I also completely forgot how emotionally invested Innes actually was in Sam.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's funny
She
how
was really into it.
Yeah, it's funny how you just cherry pick the bits, the main theme, which is that, you know, how scandalous it was. But she did form genuine feelings for him, and he just played them both. Completely.
Did they have anything beyond the show?
No.
How did it end? So he was gone.
I think he just ghosted her in the end. I can't actually recall. Again, this is the thing. There's whole entire bits that I'm missing. I found it really interesting watching them watch it all back, as if, apart from the person who it was about, it's like no one had ever seen this footage before.
Yeah.
They were gasping and like, oh my God, did she just say that? It's like, oh, yeah, surely you watched it.
Yeah. Surely you were in the room.
He didn't show up to the reunion on this season. He
No.
didn't show up to this reunion. At least I feel like people like Mike and Jess have come back and kind of, you know, and Dean. Dean seems like such a non-villain by comparison, by the way. Like
It's true.
his thing with Davina, I'm not condoning it by any means, but when you compare that to kind of the intensity of the Sam and Innes situation or the Dan and Jess situation, it just felt different. That just like escalated with each season.
Have you seen what Sam looks like now?
No?
He's bulked out even more than
Whoa.
he had. Shaved his head.
He shouldn't have shaved his hair because it's such lovely hair. Lots of men would kill for a
He did have lovely
mop of
hair.
hair like that.
But it was on the way out. Like you'll see here as part of his body transformation, he started to slowly shave it up the
Yeah,
sides
right.
until he basically just had a mohawk and then he went
Holy
totally
shit,
bald.
he's really, really built.
Yeah.
Like
It's
he
pretty
has
crazy.
been hitting the gym hard.
Seems like he's almost in disguise. And I would be too, to be honest.
We had Cyrell and Jess, not on the main couch, but just having a bit of biffo. verbally.
I knew you were going to say biffo.
Sorry. I need to sort out my vocabulary. They were having a bit of back and forth from their respective couches.
Yes.
And I don't know, what do you make of this, Alex?
I'm just trying to remember what they... So was Cyrell still hung up on something that Jess may or may not have said on social media about her relationship and sort of the insinuation that as a result her son is kind of a product of a publicity stunt?
Yeah, so Jess admitted to that. Jess admitted to calling her relationship with Eden fake. I don't know if she specifically admitted to talking about Cyrell baby trapping Eden. But she apologised for the things that she'd said. I haven't believed Jess up until this point. I don't think I've wanted to believe Jess up until this point, especially because I am a fan of Cyrell's. I think I nearly felt like I was in Jess's corner until the moment that they brought up the whole "you're a mother now." Because I don't love it when people say that. I think that, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't change who you are. And I understand this concept of you've got to be a role model now, but we should all be being role models all the time, right? Or not, because that's a lot of pressure. But I know what it's like as a mum when you hear stuff like that, especially from people who don't have children, that you do get so defensive because there is nothing that you won't do to protect your children. And having people call into question the way that you parent is every parent's Achilles heel. And so I can understand that that was the thing that broke Cyrell and made her leave the room.
That's what got her up
That's
and
what
walked
got
out
her
of
up.
the room.
I think they said something along the lines of, you know, is this all done and finished with now, Cyrell? And she was like, yeah, in fact, it's so done and finished with, I'm leaving. And
Yeah.
then she turned around and said to Dean, don't you ever tell me how to raise my child, something like that.
Was it Dean who said
Well,
that?
Dean kind
Why
of-
is Dean getting involved,
Dean was-
man?
because she said, I want to be a role model to my son in that if he's ever being bullied or picked on, that he can stand up for himself. And Dean was like, yeah, I appreciate that. That's a really great stance to take. But also, you want to teach him not to be reactionary. You know?
Oh, I see.
He was trying to do the right thing, but, you know,
Have you read the Bible?
it was very mansplainy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably God's planning as well.
Bloody
Deep down.
God's plainy as
Also, it's
anything.
interesting that it's like Jess spent the whole of part one trying to remove herself from the situation as the mature thing to do. But when Cyrell did it, it's funny how it was like framed very differently.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like the angry woman storms
out versus Jess like, oh, she's being mature. I will say about Jess, I felt for her when we found out the whole Dan thing. Even though she was the villain and they arose under villainous circumstances, that she moved to the Gold Coast for
Yeah.
Dan. I mean, you know, he's running his Pomsky scheme, of course. He's busy.
And we also know how hot it can be in the Gold Coast, and we know
things
how
get
heat can
crazy.
affect people.
Things get crazy in the heat. But she seemed genuinely heartbroken.
Again, it's the same story as before. She had real feelings for this person. It'd be interesting to see what he had to say. He may say the same. We're only hearing her side of the story.
True.
She kind of implied that maybe they broke each other's hearts. I think what was really nice to see from her is that acknowledgement of, A, the other people that were hurt by her actions, and also that she could see what we saw when she watched back the footage, that she could see while these people were hurt, her face was just like smug, like she didn't care, like she had very low levels of empathy. And so she was able to recognise that rather than just go, oh, I was a bit of a dick and I'm really sorry for everyone I hurt. She was quite specific about it. And that made me think that she was a lot more genuine than perhaps I had given her credit for before.
Yeah. You know what I think? Angling for a return spot in
Ooh.
season 8.
Season 8 is forthcoming.
Is it
by the way.
forthwith?
It's
Full
forthwith.
score and 2 weeks away.
No, 1 week away.
1 week away.
1 week. That, in fact,
Goodness gracious me.
Just this time next week, the first episode will have wrapped up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are we going to recap it, Jane?
I'd
this
like
is the
to.
question.
I mean, if you're still listening to this, then I guess you probably think we should, because you've
Make
listened
your voices
to
heard.
all this.
And this is a breakout. Like, this is its own standalone
Bonus
It's
material.
the real pod MAFS unit.
Original pirate material.
Original pirate material. Dangerous ideas.
Is that it?
I think so. I mean, it just ended with Martha and Michael, who
I didn't even watch it.
You didn't watch it. You
No.
tapped out.
I tapped out.
There was not much to talk about.
That's what I thought. Have they got real life marriage yet, those two?
I don't know.
Because the MAFS AU marriages, unlike the New Zealand ones, were not legal ones.
Are you going to spew?
I'm doing a burp.
Oh.
I'm trying to do it subtly and not on mic, and then you call me out for it.
It was just you look scared, like your face.
You would not.
But yeah.
If I was going to spew, I'd be
God.
weeping,
Yeah.
I'd be
Preemptively.
calling my mum.
My mum slipped down the stairs the other day. She's fine. But I saw it happen and I literally did, Mum! From our first home and ran outside. And Joe was laughing at me because he said it sounded exactly the same. She's fine. She's totally fine. The mum fear is real.
The mum fear
and
is
I empathise
real.
with the family. Of
My
our
mum's
first
having a
home.
lot of falls lately.
She.
It's terrible when you get to the age where you have a fall.
You gotta start having a fall. She was wearing Crocs on very slippery stairs, to be fair. Like, it would have happened to anyone. It's happened to me. I slipped down the stairs with a vacuum cleaner once. Anyway, see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. Thanks so much to Tina. Thanks to Duncan for approving what is going to be a breakout MAFS
Breakout
AU
pod.
recap podcast. And thank you, Alex Casey. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Jane.
Bye.
Thanks, Tina. Goodbye.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spinoff. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spinoff member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate. The Spinoff Podcast Network.